Welcome back to another episode of Unhinged Binge. We are just going to hang out, talk about some stuff that is streaming like Kaiju number 8, First Night, Treasure Planet, and Fallout. And we've got our two special guests from our last episode joining us as well. So make sure to buckle up and we're going to go ahead and get into it. Warning. The following show features reviews from wildly unprofessional critics operating without the supervision of professionals. The thoughts and opinions held by these individuals are not to be taken seriously and do not come from a place of intellectual integrity. This show doesn't reflect the opinions of Criticalist or its users. Viewer discretion is advised. What's up? What's up? What is up, everybody? Hello, and welcome to another episode of Criticalist Cast Unhinged, the Unhinged Binge, where we talk about things that are streaming that you may or may not have seen. Either way, you're going to hear us talk about it. And joining me today is not our usual Spud Specs. Well, there's one of the Spud Specs. Yeah, you don't know about the Spud Specs?
Potatoes.
Don't.
Yeah, it's our usual suspects, except they're Spud Specs.
Yeah.
Like Chris Kaus over here. What's up, buddy?
Chris Kaus. It's me. I'm a Kaus now.
He wasn't expecting that. Butterboy 69 coming in hot.
Yeah.
Or Crisco up in Criticalist.
Or Mistifer.
Mr. Christopher.
Could be.
That is it. And if you're hearing that other voice, that is Miss Sydney Andrews, Sleepy Space Mom.
What's up, guys?
And we've got Mr. Kyle Gazak.
What's up, y'all? Vocal greeting. You're welcome, Chris.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
thank you.
Kyle off script in Criticalist. So make sure to go and check out Criticalist if you are not a subscriber, user, whatever the case may be already. That's criticalist.com. We are in the app stores, Apple and Android. Make sure to come and review some movies, TV shows, and just leave a review, hang out with friends and family and folks and just have a good time, make some lists, join some groups, and, I'll be your MySpace Tom. So anyways, on to business. We are talking about things that are streaming. We've all been watching a few things, but since there's more people on this episode, we're all just going to basically talk about one thing here and kind of let you guys know what is good or what is not. And actually, I'm going to let Sid go ahead and kick things off because she wants to talk about something that she is very excited about, and all of you guys probably saw a long time ago. Not really, probably like a couple weeks ago, but she does want to talk about it because she's very excited and she hasn't reviewed it yet because she is a slacker.
Mm.
I haven't reviewed it yet. That's true. So I did see almost everyone on Criticalist review Fallout, and
72 people. I think it's one of our highest reviewed things thus far.
a lot of people love it, and that wasn't enough to convince me. But a friend of ours, Jared Rose, Full Circle Garage on Instagram, his wife actually was like, "No, this is so good, and it's so good that I wish there was more of it." And I was like, "Interesting." So I decided to do it, and I think Blaine rewatched it with me, and we watched it in I think 2 or 3 nights, something like that. So I definitely watched Fallout. I loved it. I was obsessed with it. I love the 50s aesthetic. I love the concept that everything froze in time and that technology advanced, but things that weren't as important, such as design and aesthetic, kind of stayed the same. That was pretty novel to me, so I really loved it. And yeah, I mean, I just think it's amazing. I think everyone should watch it. I actually think it's just as much for girls if you're not, even if you're not a nerd. I think it's just as much for you as it is for anybody else. It's
And how did you feel about the
crowd pleaser.
female lead? Because a lot of shows lately have been catching flack for certain female
Oh my
leads.
gosh, yes. I have to say, I watched a Geeks and Gamers live stream, and I saw the guys from Geeks and Gamers talking about the fact that this very attractive lead female was in this post-apocalyptic world, and that it was unrealistic, and that she would just be totally unsafe in that environment, and they really had a hard time with that. And I get what they're saying, I really do, but at the same time, I felt like she was a total badass, and the fact that she was unaware of what the real world really was and the dangers in the real world, it really added to the fact that she was able to navigate that world without a lot of fear. And so it worked for me. So
Right.
yeah,
And-
I actually thought she did a really good job. I believed her character.
I think so too. I didn't find her as unbelievable or as the Mary Sue trope. I thought that they kind of earned it within the first
Yeah.
episode and built her up. And which, Kyle, I know that you weren't quite as hot as I was on it, or that we are. Now, you weren't negative on it, but
Right. Yeah. It definitely was a slow build for me. There were some, without going into spoilers, there were some aspects of other storylines that just, I don't know. I was having trouble getting on board with and just wasn't as invested
Which
in.
you weren't crazy about
Um,
Max, right?
Right, and I love the Brotherhood of Steel from playing the games, but
Yeah.
and I knew that they were going to do uh, take a creative approach on that and do something that wasn't in the games.
Right.
And that was, I guess, the weak link for me. However, the build through the episodes um, was nice, and I will say, I think I told you this before. Like episode 8 was probably one of the best episodes of television.
Oh wow.
Which one was
Like
that?
the finale when
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
The last
finale.
episode.
Okay.
The last
Okay.
Like what
episode.
it builds.
Okay.
And I don't mean like maybe of all time, but for a long while. Like that
Right.
was just a great episode of
A
television.
lot of reveals, a lot happens.
Yeah, and a lot of excitement for what's to come.
Yeah.
Beautifully shot, great action, and Goggins just being an absolute unit. So
Right.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah. It reminded me of like just watching that show, the fact that I was able to stay attentive, the fact that I did not fall asleep in every episode. It literally like blew my mind. It reminded me of 10 years ago when almost everything you decided to watch on TV, like if you took the time to turn on something on HBO, on Stars, uh, any of those, like it was going to be probably a good show.
Your
And
chances of being good were way higher than
yeah,
the chances
Black
of being
Sails.
bad.
yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah.
we could go on
In
and on.
that era.
We
The
could
peak
name.
TV era, right before political correctness and all that took over all of media and everybody just kind of pivoted.
And we
really
took it
hard.
for granted. We took it for granted that if you didn't like a show, it wasn't because it wasn't phenomenal. It was because it just wasn't maybe your cup of tea and there was maybe something you would love more. So you'd watch that instead, but it wasn't because it wasn't a great show. I miss those times and Fallout reminded me of those times. So
I thought it was very solid.
And for me, just to add on to that, I still have yet to finish it.
You didn't finish it.
No,
Wow.
I have
What?
not progressed beyond the first time I mentioned that I was watching it.
And you're a huge Fallout game player. I mean, which I am as well.
Literally,
I think
I
I
had
played too.
been
so.
playing it since Fallout 1 in 1998, whenever I was a children's
Yes.
on Windows 98. Best operating system ever.
Yes.
so
my dad still uses it. Big fan of it.
well, me and your dad are the same person, so
Correct.
that checks out.
You're right, Dad.
I don't, daughter. I don't know. I feel like there's a weird. I hate to say this word. Starts with a D, but a dichotomy
Okay.
between like the games and the movie, right? So like the games it's an RPG. So that means it's a role playing game. So like you can become who you want to be. You can choose the weapons you want to choose, what path you want to choose. You can be very charismatic. You can be just a brute. So like the game leaves it up to you to decide the character that you become and how you interact with them. You can murder everybody or you can befriend everybody. So like those kind of games, it's weird to transition into a story based to where there's a lead character that you're supposed to have emotions for in that environment, just because it's like that's not how the game is set up. The game is set up to be like you create your character however you want to be. So
Mhm.
I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing of like the things that I appreciate about the game, aside from the story of like the story is good and the background, the universe that it's created in, but the what I enjoy most about the games is the freedom that it gives you to make the choices that you want to make. So having it portrayed in a way to where it's like laid out in a
So you're following set characters.
yeah,
and
it's not
just
all about you, which is very egocentric.
little narcissistic of you, isn't
but
it?
it could be, but it's so that it's where it doesn't grip you as hard. It didn't grip me as
Right.
hard in that because that's what I enjoyed most about the game is that it gave me an option for
Choosing your own adventure.
yeah, exactly, which I love about these games.
Right. Which
So-
how I guess it's how are you ever gonna be able to achieve that in a show, I guess. Is
Right.
like
Yeah,
outside
you
of
can't.
literally making it like that one TV show that came out like on Netflix like forever ago where
Oh
it
yeah,
was
you could choose
where
your
you
own
could literally
option.
choose your own
Yeah.
adventure. Like but that's kind of why I view this show more of it's almost like if you were to view each of the main characters as having their own if each of the characters was someone playing their own version of the game. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you were to view them in that kind of way, that's kind of how I view the show.
So I'm going to go ahead and break the fourth wall right now
Yes.
and just
So
say
we lost the
that
camera.
the camera is down for Sid and Kyle. So
It couldn't handle our greatness. We
That's what it was.
apologize.
Which
he
is-
said there was 2.5 hours available, which actually we're pretty close to that right now. But
right.
so I don't know.
I was
what you
worried.
want-
We
do
shot the
want-
crap a lot and went way over time. So what we'll do, you guys will
Charge.
hear their voices and you will see Chris and I. We can go ahead through our shows. Actually, Kyle,
Oh.
while you haven't talked about your show, you were going to talk about the movie Treasure Planet. So they can't see you. So they will.
Oh, but they're gonna get the energy.
Yeah. You just bring the
All right,
energy.
so-
and what you can do, switch over to my computer screen, and we
Oh.
will pivot over to that.
All right, I had a better idea.
Oh, that was your better idea.
Blaine,
Yeah.
you're gonna pantomime
Yes.
everything that Kyle is
Okay.
saying.
All right. Kyle, are you
It's
the
ready?
gonna
show where the
be-
points are made up and
Yes,
the
yeah.
points don't
All
matter.
All right.
The
Here. All right,
points.
Kyle. Are you ready?
All right, I'm gonna get real zesty right here. So last week I did a rewatch on Disney Plus of Treasure Planet, and I need to stress. I'm sure some of you. Oh my gosh!
No.
That's not the planet we want.
Oh, that's not what he's doing?
Colgate-
Yeah.
Colgate.
Don't know what he's doing?
It's a different
brushed
planet.
your
No,
teeth
oh,
over
sorry.
there?
I was just brushing my teeth. Brushing my
It's not Uranus.
teeth. No. Sorry. All right. We'll go to the critical screen, and you can go
So
because I'm just there's no way I can take this seriously.
I did a rewatch of Treasure Planet on Disney Plus, which, to be fair, I watch it every now and then because I believe it's peak Disney. It's at the very end of what I call the underrated lineup of Disney movies, which
Mhm.
started in '99 with Tarzan, and then Emperor's New Groove,
Facts.
Oh, brother.
Dinosaur, Atlantis, and then Treasure Planet. It's a beautiful
Yeah.
blend of.
Banger after banger.
I know.
And it's
But
a
people-
gorgeous film. God,
It
this film's so
is.
good. I'm looking at the screenshots right now.
You got John Resnick on the soundtrack from Goo Goo Dolls.
Yes.
You got James Newton Howard doing the rest of the instrumental.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great blend of 3D, 2D animation. That's when they were attempting things like.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I love Onward. I love Moana. Big Hero 6, which deserves a sequel.
Big Hero
still.
6 was great.
I love all these newer things, but
Onward also.
nothing. I just feel like that's where it peaked. Just the bond, the surrogate father figure in Silver, the pirate,
Yeah.
with Jim, and
And it's a
just
cool
that.
take of the Treasure Planet
Right.
novel, except for just spacey.
Mhm. Yeah, if you ever read the novel Treasure Island or seen the old show or even been on the ride at Disney, and then you take that and you just put it in space. Like, look, they're on pirate ships that are powered by the sun, but they're breathing in space. Like, it's just fun. Like, it's great.
Yeah.
You got Martin Short in there,
Mhm.
adding some more vocal talent as Ben. It's just a feel good movie, and it's one of the go tos for me. So had another rewatch last week, and as always, it delivered.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And
So
also
go check it out
looking-
if you haven't seen it.
Looking at the trailer that you have playing right now, hold on, we'll
Yeah.
go back to it. There was like a very Halo-esque planet,
Yeah.
which I don't remember
I-
there ever
the-
being. I haven't seen it
The
in
pan,
forever, but-
the long push into the crescent moon that turns out to be Montresor's spaceport.
Yeah.
dude.
It is just such a cool movie. If
It's
you've not
dope
seen
ass.
Treasure Planet,
Yes.
highly recommend. And you said you would give this movie a what, Kyle? A 100%. I
A
found your review.
100.
One hundo. So
That's fair.
this is a hidden gem. Definitely watch it yourself, show your kids, whatever.
Yeah, great family movie. Great
Yeah.
movie just to watch on your own.
And
I
a
need to
brisk
add
hour
this-
and a half.
I need
Yeah,
to add this
tight
to my
90.
infamous best family movies list on Critic List, which
Right.
is in fact the best family movie list on Critic List because I've dedicated a lot of time to
Correct.
I
it.
found it. There are 72 titles on the best family movie list. If you
Mhm.
were looking on the screen right now, Chris
Ooh.
switches over.
Sorry.
There we go. Yep, this is a list within Critic List. Make sure to go find that and check these titles out. This is a good list, and you just go follow and like her list as well.
It's so good.
So yeah, this good recommendation,
Mhm.
Kyle. Definitely check
Yeah.
out Treasure Planet. Movie's awesome and totally worth the watch. So I guess Chris, me and you can knock out ours, and we'll go ahead and run before mine and your cameras shut off
Yeah.
as well. Before we just forgot to cut these off in between shows, which was a terrible idea.
Well, we had
And we-
some
yep.
outside
We talked for a long time.
input of recording everything that we were talking about. So
Yeah, I don't know who to blame for that. So all right, so really quickly, I will bring up Yeah, see, now she's on her phone because she knows she's not on camera anymore, so nobody's watching her.
You can Snapchat all this.
Yeah,
Is that what the kids are
exactly.
using these days?
Not Snapchat.
So the show,
Adding Treasure Planet to
Oh,
my family
that's fair.
movie list.
Okay, we'll give you a pass then.
Good,
Right.
good.
Okay.
So what I'm going to be talking about is a show called Kaiju Number 8. I have recently been forced. It was forced
Wow.
by our Criticalist users. It was not willing. They made me do it. I'm not an anime guy. Talked crap about it forever and called everybody a bunch of weebs. And then I started watching all this weeby crap because the long and short of it is we talk about it a lot, but a lot of modern stuff sucks and it's not been good. But a lot of these other countries, whether it be Japan, China,
Biggest
Korea,
countries.
other folks are just doing shit better than we are right now. And so Kaiju Number 8 is on Crunchyroll. It's pretty much the only real place you can watch it. It's a new anime. It's coming out weekly. I don't know how many episodes they're gonna have.
Episodes?
Episodes. Yeah, you ever never seen an episode?
I've seen
Yeah,
it.
episode.
Oh, yeah. The episode.
It's epic
Yeah,
chode.
it's an epic chode. You ever seen an epic chode?
Oh, but have I?
Drink.
Yep.
I own a mirror. So.
Yeah. Seen a
Is
couple.
this anything like the Spuds?
Spud specs, yes.
Spud specs.
Yes. A lot of these names come from me not being able to speak well.
Yeah.
So Spud specs and epic chodes. So, talking about that, we're currently at around 8 or 9 episodes of this show, and I am currently liking it a lot. This is the most anime of animes that I have seen thus far. If you know anything about what I mean about that, it's just the reason that I avoided anime was like the ridiculous expressions, people just being over the top and ridiculous and unrealistic. For whatever reason, I could not break through to it. And so for the users and I Miss Good Movies within Criticalist, they spent like weeks trying to butter me up to get me to watch some stuff. I started with what did I start with? We talked about it earlier. Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
I started with Attack on Titan, and I've been working my way through. Actually, highly recommend Delicious in Dungeon, which is streaming on Netflix and should have its final episode very soon. It's excellent. I've been watching that as well. But Kaiju Number 8 is a cool concept, and it's basically about kaijus. If you don't know what a kaiju is, it's just a big giant monster that destroys people and wrecks shit. So if you've ever seen Pacific Rim and you know that it's the greatest movie ever made, then
False.
it is
It
absolutely.
is 100%. I'm looking at the poster for it right now.
Yeah, and Chris is clearly sitting in front of a kaiju fighting a creature, which we
That
didn't
light's
light up,
not on
and we
for
didn't
some
turn on.
reason.
We failed.
Yep. Well, Matt's not here,
He's
so
not here.
we've lacked on a lot of production value.
We have.
Gypsy Danger for life.
That's right. But Gypsy Danger is hiding in the shadows behind Chris. So Kaiju Number 8 is cool. Basically, the premise of the show, if you were to really hone in on that genre and look at it as like what would happen in a world where kaiju's regularly attacked, like there would be cleanup crews and like it would cause destruction and it would have to be paid for and buildings would be destroyed and there would literally be like people whose job it was to like cut up the body parts of these kaijus after they were killed and get rid of them. But there would also be crews of people who destroyed the kaijus. But the interesting thing is in this world, usually it's mechs like in Pacific Rim where it's big robots that kill them.
Yeah.
In this world, it's highly trained, basically like hunters that have powered suits, but it's not like a mechanized robotic suit. It's more of like a mesh type of suit. But what they do is when they kill certain kaijus, they actually take some body parts and different things and create gear like weapons and
that's
suits.
Okay.
It's very
I dig
it's
that.
it's a super
Yeah.
cool concept.
What you're saying is I should get Crunchyroll to watch it.
Yes, you should. You
Gotcha.
should. And
Not a sponsor.
not a sponsor.
Not a
right?
sponsor, no.
Yes, but so far this is a new show. Actually, the theme song is sick. I've been listening to it a lot lately, which is
Hell yeah.
surprising. But everything about the show I like pretty well, outside of the fact it is kind of goofy. Like it really rides that line of like it doesn't take itself seriously and then it will take itself seriously. Kind of I've noticed a lot with anime as I'm starting to get deeper into it. But I'm having fun with the show. And I mean, this isn't a spoiler. They show it in the trailers. It happens before the first episode is over. But the whole lead up to this is that basically the main character of the show has a small kaiju fly into his mouth and it allows him to turn into a kaiju. So he's the world's first human who can also become a kaiju.
That's cool.
And the reason it's
Sexy.
called Kaiju Number 8 is because only the most powerful kaijus get numbered or named. And he is extraordinarily powerful, but he's also a complete and total dipshit. And so it's him navigating this world of like wanting to be someone who stops kaijus, but also secretly being one.
Okay.
And so it's really cool.
Interesting.
And him joining the group who kills kaiju.
Hmm.
So that's what the premise of the show
That
is.
does feel very like Attack on Titan as
Right,
far as
a
like
little bit, yes.
not a spoilers for Attack on Titan. I don't know I think that might happen at the end of episode or season 1.
Mhm. It does.
Spoilers,
Getting that,
but
Right.
yeah.
yeah, it's
There
got
are
that
some
feel.
parallels with Attack on Titan. The art style in this is neat, but it's interesting because it can ride from like goofy art style to kind of a little bit more like serious, better looking art style, which I find interesting. It
Yeah.
just seems to be a lot of these things are kind of common within anime, and it's just stuff I'm
Yeah.
getting used to.
Yeah.
But I like the show. I recommend Kaiju number 8. It is quite violent. I mean, it's destroying monsters and people getting shot, and there's some language. There hasn't been any serious nudity or anything yet, but I like it.
Shame.
I know, right? But it's cool. It's
Yeah.
a cool show. I recommend
Nice.
it. And now that I'm getting deeper into these animes and stuff, and
Yeah.
they'll probably only go to like 12 episodes, so
Yeah.
and they're on like
Well,
8 or 9
Nice.
I mean, sometimes animes can go
for
for
like 20
decades.
Well,
and
like Delicious in
ever.
Dungeon, which is on right now on Netflix, is currently sitting at like 23 episodes or
Yeah.
something. So
Wow.
for season 1.
Right.
So
And it just reminded me whenever you're talking about the art style, I
Mhm,
guess, of some of them being like very toned down
right.
as far as the detail on it.
Right.
And I see that a lot for so whenever the last time we did Unhinged Binge,
Yep.
I talked about Scavenger Rain.
Yeah, and it's very
And
simplistic stuff.
yeah, it is very simplistic. So like some you were talking about where it's just like a face and a line for a mouth.
Right. You're
Like
right. This show
sometimes they
does
do
that
that,
too.
but they do it at like a so uh
We've got a dog in here, which we also
We
don't
do.
normally have.
no, aside from me.
Yes.
You dog.
You dog. You dirty dog. But it does it in like a perspective kind of way. So like
Yes.
it's like a video game whenever it's loading certain details at a
Right.
distance. So it's at a farther distance. They're just gonna have a line.
It's more
and there's not,
simplistic.
yeah. They're not putting much effort into it.
Yeah. But
But I do respect that also in some. So you need to. I'm
Mhm.
encouraging to watch
Yes.
One Punch.
One Punch Man.
Which
Yes.
Kyle,
Is a
you
huge
did see
Yes.
it.
I've
Okay.
oh yeah, I've seen
Okay.
it.
I
I'm
never
up
got
to date
your
on.
full reaction whenever you were talking about, or whenever I asked
I
you
love
about
One
it.
Punch.
Okay,
It's
yes.
hilarious and some of the best fighting I've ever seen. Yeah.
It's and it feels like a story that you wouldn't get behind because it's kind of like a Superman situation
Mhm.
of where like
Where
they're
can this go?
indestructible and they're stronger than
Like
everybody.
you start out at the top of the ceiling basically,
Yeah.
but you realize, oh, there's so much room to move around in.
Right. And it still leads to a lot of story and background and depth, even though
That's been the biggest thing that surprised me with anime is the amount of depth.
yeah,
Mhm.
And the effort, like all the things that I described about this show, like a
right.
lot of live action American shows would not put that much detail even in what I just told you about, like the plot.
Mhm.
Right.
Like they wouldn't go into the depth of which I'm about to lose you guys in about 2 seconds. My camera's about
Oh,
to die.
Jesus.
We're gonna have to bail ship. Unfortunately, we are not gonna
We're
make it
doing
finish
it.
the show.
It'll just be
No,
me.
no, but yeah, it might be just you because my camera is now blinking as well.
Yeah,
We
you're
might
good.
have to
And so I'll
talk about
finish.
your show
I'll
real
wrap
quick.
up real quick.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so I'm going to talk about a movie that I've already reviewed on Criticlist. If you're not on it, get on it, and you can see my full review. But basically, it's a movie from my childhood called The First Night, or just First Night. But it's starring Sean Connery, the King, the Goat, the best. I don't
Correct.
know.
The
Like
best.
it's
Just the
best
best.
of best.
The
Yeah.
best.
I was trying to like
Richard
put it more.
Gere.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Richard Gere in this movie. He's the worst. I hate him. He's a total douche knob, and but it really helped me understand like who I am as a person today. Because
Huh.
this movie shaped me.
A douche.
Correct. Not wrong. That is one of my shapes.
Yes.
It's very douche like. I
Douche
do
shape.
fit
Wait,
into
to-
vaginas.
To throw back to the movie we reviewed earlier,
Yeah.
Il Duce.
Yeah.
Could be.
Nope, there goes my camera. All right, you better hurry,
Okay.
Chris.
Il
All right,
Duce.
so I'm
Here.
gonna shut us out here. Oh God, everything's going dark.
Yeah.
It feels like the end of the world. All the cameras. So yeah, this movie, it's a love hate, but I recognize in it, watching it now after 20 years, probably is the last time I saw it. I was literally a child when I seen it. But it helped me realize why I enjoyed it so much, and there was there's a lot of emotion and like standards behind it, and it's
Mhm.
all put forth by Sean Connery.
Looking
his
at it, I'm pretty sure I
character-
saw this a bunch as a kid too.
It's a
'cause-
great,
You probably
the
did.
Arthurian tale.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's about the round table, and Sean Connery is Arthur, and Richard Gere
That's
is
a lot.
Lancelot, the biggest dick of all times, and Guinevere, the biggest whore. Um,
Sure.
Here.
what?
I forgot the actress name. I think it's the one from The
It's
Abyss.
Julia Ormond.
Julia Fitz. Yeah, that
Mhm.
sounds right. All you Julias out there. But I don't know. It's so well written. Like it's fantastic dialogue. I enjoy the character development. It's a classic.
Is there much
think
action? I don't
90s.
remember.
I would say it's
Ye-
less than
Medium.
Oh god,
40%.
you're blinking, Chris. You're
Yeah.
blinking.
I
We're
know.
going.
It's less than 40% of action. So, but it is worth it for the storytelling and the dialogue that goes into it. So check it out if you haven't. And so I'm gonna.
Yep, close this out, Chris.
okay.
Just close this.
And with that, this is the Criticalist cast. I don't know.
Yeah,
How do we
unhinged.
unhinged binge? We're
Yes.
binging right now, and
We're
the cameras are
dying.
Vocal
dying.
batteries.
Dead.
There's a
Bang.
dog eating a camera.
This has gotten
Chaos.
vocal
Chaos.
cue to say
And
bye.
Yes,
with
on that note,
we're gonna
goodbye.
say farewell, Blaine.
Yes, later, guys.
Keep
This
watching
has been
movies.
real.
Sydney.
Goodbye.
Keep watching movies.
That's
All right.
Yes.
And
and
we
reviewing.
love you. Come to me
Yeah.
all the time. And Criticalist. Criticalist is what I meant to say.
Yep.
Okay, bye-bye.